But the bigger news this week is obviously about the petition. There is new information available. I want to preface this to say, if you were looking to see if the petitions were out yet to actually be able to sign, they are still not available yet. I'm suspecting it should be within a week to 2 weeks. The Attorney General has, or the Secretary of State has 2 weeks maximum to get these petitions out and be able to sign. But the information is more about the process. So if you guys are interested, please listen through to the end, because this is good information. This is about the summary. So this is from goal.org. This is the AG petition summary page on H.4885. And the title is "The Petition to Repeal Chapter 135 has been approved by the Secretary of State. Massachusetts Attorney General Campbell seeks to mislead the public on Chapter 135. We just received word that the referendum petition to repeal Chapter 135 has been approved by the Secretary of the Commonwealth. The Secretary now has 2 weeks to provide the public with official signature sheets that can be then dispersed to collect valid signatures. It is the general consensus that we will need to gather around 75,000 signatures to make sure there is enough. Signature sheets can be disqualified for a number of reasons. What's up, guys? Dom here with Restricted America. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. A few updates for this week. Number one is the rally was yesterday, the Take It Back 2A rally. I went for a little bit. It was great to meet a lot of you. Just a couple of quick thoughts on that. I know a lot of people were expecting more turnout, and I do agree. I wish more people had shown up, of course, but you can't control what people do. You can just control what you yourself can do. And I'm glad I went. I'm glad whoever did go, whoever could go went. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the organizers of the event. There were some great speakers, especially Derek Chauvin at the end. He did a great job closing it up. I recorded his closing, or at least most of his closing speech, on my YouTube and put it up on there. So if you guys want to watch that, and I know Toby Leary with Cape Gunworks, he also live streamed the whole event, so it should be available for replay if you want to watch the whole thing. So definitely go watch either of those videos if you missed it and you just want to, see what people were saying, see what it was all about. But overall, very good event. There was one speaker I didn't appreciate, and I think most people didn't appreciate, and if you went, you probably know who I'm talking about. I don't really remember his name, but he was an interesting gentleman. I'll just say that, but I'll talk more about that. I should be having a collaboration with Toby Leary from Cape Gunworks this Wednesday. I just want to get that out to my viewers to make sure you guys are watching that event. I'm going to try to stream it from my channel as well. I'm not great with, surprisingly, I'm not great with technology, so I'm going to try my best to make that work. And, if we can only stream it on his channel, that's totally fine as well. But make sure you're watching it on somehow. And I'll confirm that with you guys and post it when I know for certain it's happening. During that approval process, Secretary Galvin sought the assistance of the Massachusetts Attorney General, which is very common. However, the AG then sent 2 separate emails to the original signers of the petition. The first was to ask their opinion if they thought the petition met Massachusetts constitutional standards. The second email was to solicit the signers' input on a fair and concise summary that would appear before the voters. Both emails were also CC'd to a laundry list of anti-civil rights groups around the country. Not a single national pro-2A group was included. The Attorney General's fair and concise summary of Chapter 135, also see below, is nothing short of an attempt to completely deceive the general public about the injustices that this law represents. When the AG solicited input from the original signers of the petition, Jim Wallace responded with this: "Keep in mind that there are strict limits on how much can be printed for the summary. At this point in the petition process, GOL will now have to hand the effort over to an officially registered committee according to Massachusetts law. The committee will have to be put together and officially manage the effort and the finances from here forward." I do have a video waiting to be released on, some more information on that committee, and a website that we'll be able to go to to find out more about that. So I'm waiting to be able to release that. They want to make sure the committee is formed first and everything's all legitimate. So I will I will post it when it's ready. So guys, this is what I'm about to read is the goals version of Chapter 135 petition summary. And this was the draft submitted to the Attorney General. So the law continues the practice of opinion-based licensing denials found to be unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. In parentheses, Bruin, the law creates a new mandate that all firearms be registered with the state on a system that does not currently exist and for which no funding was provided. The law would prohibit lawful gun owners from entering onto most government property. Hunters would be banned from state-managed land that is not directly owned by the Commonwealth. The law would ban the possession of any person of any age holding a firearm identification card from possessing semi-automatic firearms in common use, including basic entry-level models. The law bans reenactors and hobbyists from possessing the ammunition components for antique-style muzzleloaders without a license. The law would allow the state to produce rosters of firearms that are banned or eligible for sale at the discretion of the state. The law created a brand definition for assault-style firearms to drastically broaden what semi-automatic firearms in common use will be banned. It utilizes a new list of features that determine what an assault-style firearm is, including features that most common-use firearms have. It sets up a confusing set of so-called grandfathering laws. The law perpetuates the cruel and dangerous practices of the red flag law by not providing any assistance to persons found to be suicidal and no monitoring and or follow-up of those found to be an extreme public safety risk. It also changes the law that anyone can be subject of such an order, not just gun owners. The law places great burdens on federally state-licensed firearm retailers. Most firearms in common use would not be eligible for sale through a retailer because of strict laboratory testing standards. Even for the most basic entry-level firearms, basic-level entry firearms, common carriers delivering firearms to retailers will be forced to meet secure storage laws. Retailers would be required to register their inventory, a mandate never seen prior. The law mandates that everyone seeking a new license take a course for which no curriculum exists in Massachusetts or anywhere in the nation. The cost of the proposed training would likely be cost prohibitive. There are no certified trainers to provide this required training. It would mandate live fire training that would put a strain on private clubs and ranges. The law declares all unfinished frames and receivers to be firearms, but there is no clear definition of that term. A block of aluminum could legally be considered an unfinished machine gun. So guys, next up is what the actual Attorney General wrote for her fair and concise summary of Chapter 135. So take a seat, take a deep breath, and have some water ready. So this law makes a number of changes to Massachusetts laws governing firearms. The law adds school administrators and licensed healthcare providers as parties permitted to ask a court to issue an extreme risk protection order, requiring an individual to surrender or relinquish their firearm licenses, permits, and firearms if an individual is a present danger to self or others. The law also provides that when issuing an harassment order, prevention order, a court may also order the surrender of firearms licenses, permits, and firearms. The law imposes penalties for possessing, creating, and transferring untraceable ghost gun firearms and requires all firearms except antiques and relics, including unfinished frames and receivers that can be readily made into a finished product, to have serial numbers. The law includes privately made guns like 3D printed guns within the provisions governing untraceable ghost gun firearms. The law changes firearms licensing requirements to allow local licensing authorities to request prior license and permit information from the state, as well as access petitions for involuntary mental health commitments denied by a court in addition to prior involuntary commitments as a part of their review of applications for licenses to carry firearms, firearm ID cards, and licenses to sell firearms. Number 2, require an individual be 21 years of age to own semi-automatic rifles or shotguns. Number 3, add the possibility of incarceration of up to 6 months for a second offense of failing to report a firearm loss or theft. Number 4, enable 12 to 15-year-olds to apply for a self-defense spray permit with parental permission and 15 to 18-year-olds to apply independently. The law allows local firearm licensing authorities to transfer the responsibility to inspect firearm dealers to the state police. The law requires local licensing authorities to attend statewide training regarding those inspections. It requires dealers to confiscate expired or suspended licenses and report them to the state and to local licensing authorities. The law changes the definition of machine gun to include bump stocks, trigger cranks, Glock switches, and auto sears among the devices whose possession and use are subject to penalties. It expands the definition of silencer to include the parts used to construct a silencer. The law clarifies how to determine whether a firearm is an assault-style weapon and the circumstances under which a person may continue to possess assault-style firearms and large-capacity feeding devices they already own. The law requires the State Firearm Control Advisory Board and the State Secretary of Public Safety and Security to review and update the rosters of prohibited assault-style firearms, approved firearms, and approved firearms sold for target shooting. Law clarifies requirements relating to the carry and transport of firearms in motor vehicles and ATVs. It prohibits the carrying of firearms in government buildings, polling locations, and schools with certain exceptions. The law expands data compilation and reporting requirements to and from the state and creates publicly accessible dashboard of anonymized aggregate firearm data along with a commission to study that data. No funding for that, obviously. The law requires the state police to provide training and a test for new applicants for licenses to carry or firearm ID cards. The law establishes 2 special legislative commissions, one to examine funding for violence prevention services and one to study emerging firearms technology. Then it goes on to say the law criminalizes discharging a firearm, and then it just cuts off. So I think either it got cut off or that was mistakenly put in there. I'm not sure, but we can just disregard that. So guys, obviously the Attorney General's version is no good. We expected this, that they were going to, make it cruddy and stupid. But, it is what it is. There's no really changing it. They have the ability to create their own summary. So this is what it is. It's our job to get the word out that this is not a good law, that people should vote to repeal it. So that is the call to action right now, is, to spread the message, to inform other gun owners, especially gun owners that don't even know that this happened. And I'd also say to spread the information to people that are also not gun owners. So guys, that's the information right now. Again, the signing sheets are still not available, but it should be available within 1 to 2 weeks. I'm gonna make a video and post, immediately once I find out that information and when they are available. So guys, thank you for watching. If you're looking at doing any outdoor shopping or anything, I do have some affiliate links in my campsite bio. I'm gonna include it in the summary of this video. And if you're looking for any outdoor shopping, I think Brownells is on there. If you do any shopping at Brownells or True Shot, any of those websites, the channel gets a little bit of a kickback if you shop at those, and it's just a good way to support the channel. I'm trying to get some, new equipment, some better recording stuff to make these videos better quality. So I do thank you in advance for that. Also, if you enjoy these types of videos, make sure to give this video a like, leave a comment if you want to know anything more, or if you just you have a comment or a concern, just post it. And if you're not subscribed, make sure to do that now. Other than that, stay informed and stay unrestricted, folks.